What do you do when you hit that wall of fear that's keeping you from doing what you truly want to do in your heart? Do you shrink back, or do you lean into it and explore it to see what's at the heart? Your relationship with fear is the relationship that is going to determine whether you live a life of joy, freedom, passion, and purpose, or you stay stuck in that matrix of limitation, that illusion of scarcity, smallness, and stuckness. It's your relationship with fear that makes all the difference. But take a moment just to think about what you would do if money were no object. If you had all the money in the world, you didn't have to pay the bills, your life was just taken care of, and you were free to do exactly what you dream of doing, the thing that brings you the most joy. What would you want to do? Now, when you think about what that is, can you notice all the voices that tell you why that couldn't happen, why it's not likely to work out for you, all the things that would have to happen first in order for you to live that? Those are all the voices of fear. And the thing is, none of those stories are true. They aren't even yours. All they are is recycled thoughts from this grand field of the human condition, swirling around, penetrating into your awareness and creating this feeling like, I can't, I'm not enough, who am I to think that big, who am I to think I could make a difference? All of that garbage isn't even yours. You have been gifted with a dream. Somewhere deep inside your heart, there's something that you would love to do if only you had the freedom, the money, the courage, whatever it is you feel like you're lacking. It is that thing that you were born to do. You are the only person on the planet who can do this one thing. And it's your gift, the thing that brings you the most joy. And the purpose of your life is joy. To do that thing that you were born to do. And you know you're on the right path because you're feeling the joy. You know you're on the right path when you feel that sense of aliveness and passion and excitement when you wake up in the morning. Every single one of us has a unique place in the symphony of life. It is that one thing that we were born to do, that gift that we have that makes us unique. And when we relax and surrender and allow ourselves to go with the flow of what brings us true deep joy, there's this larger force that guides us in the direction of the support, the resources, the abundance that we need. Whatever we need to live our purpose is given to us. But we have to have the courage to say yes, and we have to relax into allowing ourselves to be carried by this force of life. If you think of it from an evolutionary perspective, go back to after the Big Bang, when there was just tiny subatomic particles exploding, floating throughout the cosmos. And little by little, these particles found each other, swirling around after the explosion. And they came together to form what we now know of as atoms. And those atoms came together to form molecules. And over and over throughout time, these particles came together to form stars, and then planets, and Earth. Now, we know it from 14 billion years later after the Big Bang as this miraculous experience called life. But when you look at the bigger trajectory, what was guiding all of those particles in the first place? How did those two atoms know to come together to form a molecule? And how did those molecules know to come together to form a planet? And how did those molecules come together to create cells? And where did life come from? There's some bigger force that has guided the movement and the evolution of every particle in the history of our cosmos. And you and I are no different. The cool thing is, we have conscious awareness. And we can now awaken to the fact that we are part of this evolutionary journey. We are conscious contributors to this entire flow of evolution. And when we wake up to the fact that we have a role to play, and it comes from following our heart and doing what brings us joy, we can grasp and expand our awareness into this broader perspective of knowing that we matter, that every one of us makes a difference, The purpose of your life is to do that thing that brings you joy because people need it. There is somebody out there who's going to benefit from what it is that you do. You might not know them. You might not ever have an idea of how your life is going to touch the lives of others. And you won't know until you say yes to your adventure. So the way this works is as we get dreams, as we get insights about, what I would love to do, what I would love to do if there was no limits on my life, that is the indicator of that larger evolutionary force that's pulling us forward. That is evolution in action. And the dream is simply there to bring our focus in this direction, to say, this is what I want. I'm going to focus in this direction. Now we have a choice in every moment. We can choose to focus on that thing that would bring us joy, or we can focus on the nitty-gritty details of our life that are busy and scattered and not focused at all. But they keep us pulled back into that illusion, not following our highest bliss. So as you just bring that awareness that your dream of whatever it is that you would love to do more than anything, that is your highest self calling you forward. And as you say, yes, that's what I want, and you start to orient yourself so that your posture every day is facing the direction of your dream, and you start to take baby steps and say, yes, I'm committed to doing that. That's when you discover this flow of evolution that is no different than that same force that brought those subatomic particles together. It's the same thing. It will carry you just like it carried an atom to become a molecule. It will carry you to find your perfect place in this whole symphony of life. That is where you get into the flow of synchronicities. That's where you get into the flow that feels magical and light. So many people I talk to don't have a vision of what that dream is. I don't know, they say. I don't know what I would do. This is another common issue in our culture right now, is that so many of us have been raised in such a way that we've completely forgotten the truth of who we are. And that forgetting process, one of the aspects of it is that inability to even have desires of our own. We've gotten so conditioned to look outside ourselves for how we should behave that we've lost that ability to dream. And you know it when you look around and you see this mass wave of depression, the antidepressants, the malaise, the lethargy, the health issues. All of those are symptoms that we're not even awakened to the truth of what we're capable of, and the fact that we have this purpose and this vision and a perfect place in the symphony of life. And one by one, as we awaken and go, wait a minute, who am I really? There's more for me to do. And start asking the questions like, what do I want of my life? That's what puts the wheels of the universe in motion and gets us unstuck from where we are. So the number one question to ask yourself is simply, what do I want? Like a lot of people, you may discover that you get a blank. You don't know what you want because you've never dared dream that big. There's a very common thread in that there's a subconscious, deeply buried belief that it's not okay to have our own desires. It's not okay to have a vision. It's not okay. We should conform. We should fit inside the box. And yet, daring to ask that bold question, what do I want, is the first step of unhooking yourself out of the illusion of conformity and mass consciousness to say, I'm going to live an extraordinary life. Some of you may already know what you want. You have this pulling of a vision or a dream that's calling you forward. If only I had enough money, I would do this. If only I didn't have to take care of this, what I really want to do is this. You know it in your heart. You've just never dared talk about it. Maybe there's that part of you that's so tender that you don't dare reveal it to anyone for fear of judgment, criticism, or ridicule. That tender, sacred essence of you is the part that's ready to come alive. you'll find that as you give voice to that part of you and you start moving forward, you are going to run into the walls of fear. At least that's what it feels like. There's actually nothing there, but it feels like a rock wall holding you back, and it's terrifying. And as you move into these walls of fear, it stirs up the deeply buried wounds from deep inside your subconscious that have been protecting you your whole life, keeping you safe from that thing that you fear most. But as you lean into that electric fence kind of illusion where you discover, oh, if I get close, I get zapped. You get flooded with the physiology of fear. You get the dry mouth. You get the heart pounding in your chest. You feel scared. It makes you want to cry. And we shrink back. And we shrink back again. But as you lean into it and discover that it's like those invisible electric fences where when you lean into it, you just have to be there for a moment and be present with it, feeling that feeling, and then you're on the other side and you're free. So whatever it is that you've encountered on your journey that feels terrifying, whatever it is that you're facing right now that feels like your world is crumbling, like you can't bear it anymore, like you don't know how you're going to get out of this mess, whatever that crisis or catastrophe is, just know that you've called that in for your own greatest adventure. You say, no, I would never have called this in. No way. No, you don't understand. No, I get that maybe for other people, but not me. Right? This is the root of terror. It's absolutely terrifying. But there's two ways of thinking about this. Number one, going back to our evolutionary perspective one more time. If you look at the course of evolution, how life has unfolded to get to the place where it is today, every big quantum leap in the evolution of life itself has been preceded by some crisis or catastrophe. Always, in order to make room for the new, something has to crumble and fall apart. Always, before there's a big breakthrough, a new leap in consciousness, something had to go horribly wrong in order to create space for that. Now, the cool thing about the human experience facing fear is that the whole way that this whole game is designed, we are never, ever brought to a place of fear without already having the solution within us. It's just the way the game is designed. So the thing that you fear most, the thing that you're afraid of losing, the thing that terrifies you the most, is it losing a relationship? Is it running out of money? Is it being humiliated, being shamed, being seen to be the fraud that you are? What is the fear? Whatever it is, you've been guided there by your highest self, because the game is to discover in that moment, number one, your capacity to find peace in the middle of the fire. To be there in the middle of the flames, standing there with your feet on the hot coals and watching yourself be eviscerated in this swirling wave of blazing smoke, and discover, deep within, there's this golden, glowing essence that is now shining like never before, because you had the courage to step into the fire and be present with the wave of terror, to really truly be with the darkness without pushing it away, to be there in that dark night of the soul where you're just in a heap, bawling your eyes out, feeling the absolute terror of facing this thing that you've been terrified of. That's the magic alchemy that brings you the freedom that you really have been after. So number one, you get to discover your capacity to be in the midst of the contrast and come out stronger on the other side. And number two, you get to discover that already within you there is that God seed, that creative aspect of you that has the innovative perspective, that has the power to create, that has the ability to feel inspired, to connect with your higher self and pray and ask and reach out, or whatever it is you do in those moments when you're on your knees. Those are the moments when we reach out. And it's in that reaching out that we connect to that force that is larger than us and discover that we have a direct line to all the inspiration, all the creative ideas, all of the strength, all of the capacity that we've ever needed. We already have it within us. So as you get into that point where your life is about to fall apart and you're facing the thing that you feel most afraid of, that is the sign that you're absolutely on the right track. You're on the verge of a huge breakthrough. Something beautiful opening up for you. And your capacity to step into the fire and feel all of the feelings that come up. And just let them be feelings that flow through your being. That's your ticket to freedom. You're going to discover that you have everything you need already within you. And this is the journey of the magic alchemy that is your hero's adventure. So the question is, what is it that you really want? What is it you want to create with your life? This whole human experience is this grand game where you get to discover your creative power to be the masterpiece painter of your own life. If you can dream it in your imagination, it's been given to you. That dream has been given to you for a reason. Not just to tantalize you and think, oh, maybe next lifetime. No, that is your preview of the coming attractions for your life. You've been given that vision because it is coming. And on the journey to living that dream, you're going to face everything that has kept you from living that biggest version of yourself. But you already have everything you need within you. The game is starting to think about your life experience as that hero's journey, as that call to adventure, and you find that you find that capacity within yourself that can slay the dragons. And it turns out that on this hero's journey, the dragons are only the thoughts in your own mind. Every time you encounter something that feels like it's holding you back, the reason why you couldn't possibly have that, you just get to discover that you have this incredible focusing power of your mind that has the capacity to be with fear, see it for what it is, and then continue to focus on your vision anyway. Because when you get really clear on what you want to do with your life, and you get really clear on your vision and decide that you know it's possible, that vision is going to keep pulling you forward. You have a true divine calling that is your gift and your blessing to be in the world, to do in the world, and to have everything you need in order to fulfill your destiny. This is your calling. The question is, will you choose to embark on your hero's journey, or will you stay stuck within the limitations of fear? You are stronger than you could possibly ever know right now. You are more amazing than you could possibly ever feel in this moment. You are limitless. You are strong. You are powerful. And you are just on the beginning of learning how amazing you are. Every experience you have is going to help you refine your inner compass, refine your inner sense of knowing that says, yes, this is my path, or no, I'm off path. Every experience you have, it helps to refine that. And that's really what this game is about, is starting to discover how you can live from that compass within you and trust it implicitly to bring you in the direction of your greatest good, your biggest dreams, your grandest vision. Trust yourself. You are on your own perfect path. You're moving at your perfect pace. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. You're beautiful. You are capable. You are resilient. You are strong. And you are loved.